My name is Christopher Amos Chikomekontambi, welcoming you to sequel number 14. Kindly don't look for sequel number 13 because it does not exist and it will not exist. The reasons are very spiritual. So the next sequel is sequel number 14. And welcome. I hope you remembered what I requested you in yesterday's sequel: to subscribe, to like, to comment, and to share on all groups you can think of, including your own church group, your family groups. Please, it's very important for me. Today, we want to look at the other sins of Christian persecution, Christian martyrdom, other than Munyonyo and Namugongo. Today, we are going to look at Singo, and we are going to look at places like Nachivubo or Mengo or Old Kampala. Katikkiro Mukasa was not done because far away in Singo was the Mityana Center, renowned for its Christian converts. The royal soldiers were sent and they stormed the village on 30th of May 1886. They found Nuwa Mawagali red-handed teaching Christianity in working hours, the crime of the Munyonyo Christian page boys, if you remember. There was no need for trial, and so he was simply speared to death. Some of his students denounced Christianity there and then and escaped, but Sub-County Chief Matthias Murumba and Lukabana Vachintu were arrested and quickly taken to Mengo to face the Katikkiro Mukasa. Mukasa had ordered that when these are found, they should be taken to Mengo. The hunt for Christian converts in Mityana who had refused to denounce Christianity went on the following day, 31st of May 1886, and 3 more were netted and they were speared to death. They were Moanga, Kayizi Chibuka, and Mayanja Chitogo. The soldiers sent to hunt for Christians in Singo County entered deep into the villages. They came across so many Christians who refused to denounce Christianity, and they killed over 200 of them as a penalty per the royal edict given on the 26th of May 1886 at Munyonyo. Now, because they were killed in the villages, their names were never recorded by historians. But there is an interesting man, a Muzungu from Germany. He was a traveler, and he was coming from Bunyoro. He's there for the eyewitness who we are using as researchers. He recorded several massacres of men who had been accused of confessing Jesus Christ and Christianity and refusing to denounce them, and they were therefore speared to death. This traveling Muzungu from Bunyoro, who is a very good witness for this, is called Dr. Janka. He says in his book that he personally counted about 200 dead bodies from when he started seeing them to the last one he counted. 200 dead bodies. And he also mentions that not necessarily in Singo, as he walked all the way to Mengo. So whatever bodies he counted, he was asking, why is that one dead? And then they would tell him he refused to denounce Jesus Christ, he refused to denounce Christianity, and that's why they killed him. So he counted 200 bodies. Now, other writers who have since agreed with the high number of the Uganda martyrs being more than what we know is a writer known as G.A. Gollock. In his book, he reported that the Christians who were killed across the kingdom were more than 200. There is also Reverend Ashe, the one who made the first baptisms in Uganda. He also wrote a book. And in his book, he concludes that only a few names of the martyrs of Uganda were ever recorded. He says the majority of Christians who died because of their faith and their refusal to denounce it were very many. But he says the reason why we have names of the ones we know is because those were royal pages or people who were nearer to the official palaces. Lastly, there is the Roman Catholic Bishop Perez Leeuwenhoek. He was in Kavirondo and he got interested in the story of the Uganda matters at that time. So he came and did his own research. And in his book, he says that there were at least 100 Uganda matters. But he also explains that they are not recorded by name because only those who were working in the palaces were recorded by name because they were the ones who were known. Now, the only researcher who has ever explained why the figure is too high, who gave it time. Others also mentioned it, but they didn't give it time. But the book that gave it time is a book written by the Reverend J.D. Mullins. He's also a Muzungu. And he was writing in the year 1902. Yeah, more than 100 years ago. Then this Muzungu was writing a research on the Uganda matters. And he said that close to 200 Christian converts were killed for their refusal to denounce Christianity. And he said these Christians had not yet been baptized. Now that is very important. And it brings a theological debate, which I don't want to go into. If they had not yet been baptized, then were they Christians? Yeah. If I had time, I would have taken you to the scriptures which talk about baptism by blood. But anyway, I don't want to go there. I am not preaching. I'm just giving you history. So yes, they were never baptized. Their names are not recorded. But who did they die for? For Jesus Christ. So I'll leave it to you to reason and also use the scriptures to answer yourself. If they were not baptized, are they really martyrs, Christian martyrs? Now, meanwhile, in Mengo, Luka Bana Bachintu from Mityana had arrived, and Katikiro Mukasa made up his mind that he should also be taken to Namgongo. I think he just wanted to make sure that he's killed, so he was to join the 26 to make the number 27. And again, remember, without Waswa. If you put Waswa like other researchers do, the number would become 28. But in my case, 27. Now, the remaining Mityana victim who had been brought to Mengo was Mathias Murumba. Mathias Murumba and Katikiro Mukasa were known to each other because he was a sub-county chief in Mityana, this Mathias Murumba. So he was a big man in the kingdom. And Katikiro Mukasa had always wanted to get rid of him because he had a personal relationship with Kabaka Mwanga. Of course, Kabaka Mwanga being the king, he knows his chiefs. He has relationship with his chiefs. And this was one of the relationships that troubled Katikiro Mukasa. A young man being close to the Kabaka, being so far away, and their positions like Bobase Chibobo, Wapokino, even Katikiro. So he was getting rid of people who were potential threats to his position. So when a chance presented itself that did not require a trial, Mukasa did not waste it. Mathias Murumba, therefore before the Katikiro, who himself presided over his trial, the edict was to kill all Christians, so there was no need to take him to the king. Katikiro was enough to preside over and simply confirm the edict of murder that had already been given by the Kabaka. So he asked the soldiers to begin a slow torture of the sub-county chief, Mathias Murumba, and force him to denounce Christianity. Murumba has since been recorded as the most tortured Christian of all those who died for their faith in as far as the Uganda matters are concerned. The soldiers beat him up, but Murumba would not renounce Christianity. So the Katikiro, who was presiding over his trial, ordered that the soldiers begin to cut off bits and bits of his fingers, slowly, pora, as they asked him to renounce Christianity, so that he could be set free. So they cut off all his fingers, and he bled so badly. So the delighted Katikiro Mukasa, Mukasa belonged to the Musu clan. He was enjoying the scene, seeing his enemy going away. But instead, Mathias Mulumba challenged the Katikiro in his presence, face to face, prayed for him to be forgiven. He prayed for him one day to accept Jesus Christ before he died. Can you imagine? This was very challenging. He then told him how if he did so, they would then meet in paradise, which means Mulumba was very willing to die. Now that scared the Katikiro, because remember the Katikiro is a sorcerer. Now when you are dying and you are very brave like this, sorcerers get scared. So Katikiro was very scared, and he ordered the soldiers to cut off Mulumba's 2 limbs, which sent him crying so loudly. Mulumba was bombing Akaba. The Katikiro's medicine man who was nearby was summoned, and the Katikiro, a well-known sorcerer, asked him to catch the spirit of Mulumba the moment he died and bound it, lock it up, so that the ghost does not haunt me. The sorcerer Katikiro, getting scared. Unfortunately, Mulumba had bled so much, he could not live much longer. He closed his eyes, having lost so many limbs, and poor Mulumba died. After his death, his head was cut off on orders of the Katikiro. And the spot where all this was done is the modern day St. Mathias Mulumba's church opposite the Old Kampala police station. Brethren, these are the events outside Namugongo, outside Munyonyo. These are the martyrdoms happening. Who is really behind the going away of these people? Is it Mwanga? Mwanga gave the order. But who is this implementer? And when is implementing? Do we see a personal agenda? If you don't see it, I don't know how I'll show it to you. But know it from me that Katikiro Mukasa seems to be the force behind the martyrdom of many of the Uganda matters. But what really makes them matters is that he insisted that he must first make them confess that they are renouncing Christianity. And the mere fact that they did not makes them true martyrs. True Christian martyrs. But what is driving them to that point is a one man called Katikiro Mukasa, the sorcerer Banang. May the good Lord bless you. Tomorrow's sequel, which is the 15th, we shall conclude the martyrdom of the Uganda matters, or by looking at exactly what happened at Namugongo on the 3rd of June, 1886. I thank you for watching the video, for listening to the audio and the pictures that are able to be shown, because for those of you who never look at the audio, please do. There are some pictures that I post, or that we post, to give you a likeliness of exactly what would have been happening then. And then, of course, remember to subscribe. I see you, so many are watching, but you are not subscribing. Please subscribe. Subscribe to YouTube. Like the audio. Most important, comment. And then, of course, again, most important, share with the groups you are on. Don't enjoy alone. Let others enjoy also. And we thank God and ask him for his blessings. Till we meet tomorrow. Thank you.